What's going on, Flex Zone family? God's favorite host, the host with the moist, the host of this here podcast, the Flex Zone podcast, the only place giving you your sports how you want it, when you need it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, like this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and comment down below and let me know what you would give the Baltimore Ravens after the 2022 NFL Draft. Let's get straight to it. The NFL Draft is in the books for 2022, and in my opinion, the Baltimore Ravens hit a home run and got an A+ on the Flex Zone Podcast post draft report card. And I'm here to explain, tell you why, break down every pick. Let's get straight to it. Appreciate you, Flex Zone family, for tuning into the video. The Ravens coming into this draft, and Mr. Eric DeCosta had a very important job. They needed to add depth and playmakers that are young and cheap, as the Lamar Jackson contract, which we've talked about on numerous occasions, is looming. The Ravens stayed put at 14 initially in the first round, and Jermaine Johnson was on the board, and Kyle Hamilton kept sliding, and it ended up being Kyle Hamilton. Now the Ravens did sign Marcus Williams this past offseason, but a top five prospect falling in the draft, and I got to give the Baltimore Ravens credit at this, especially in hindsight. Sticking to your board, going best player available, getting a unicorn, a hybrid, a guy that you can put on the defensive back at safety, at corner, at linebacker, a guy who can blitz off the edge, a guy who can cover in man to man coverage, come up and support in a run game. Kyle Hamilton is probably one of the best prospects we've seen at the safety position in the last 3 to 5 years. And I think with his size, strength, because I think he'll get bigger and stronger when he gets that NFL training, and speed, which I think he plays faster than his 40 time indicates, will be a steal for the Ravens. They can use him all over the field, and he doesn't just have to play safety. You pair him with Marcus Williams, you pair him with Chuck Clark, Marcus Peters coming back, and Marlon Humphrey. I give that pick alone an A+ for him to be there. Kyle Hamilton's going to do great things for the Ravens, and may remind some of another great safety we've had named Ed Reed. Now, next pick, Ravens traded back into the first round, stayed at 25. This pick took a little longer, which lets me know they were deciding what they wanted to do. When it was 14, the card went in immediately. It was Kyle Hamilton. Now, the Tyler Linderbaum pick at 25, a lot of people were saying, well, the Ravens need tackle, if anything, on offensive line. But I think even despite his undersized measurables and shorter arms. I think Tyler Linderbaum went to the same college as Marshall Yonder, a future Hall of Famer, Baltimore Raven great. Tristan Wirfs, another all pro caliber tackle. He plays center. He's a little undersized, as I said, arms a little shorter, but I think he's an anchor that you can put on your offensive line. He's an intelligent guy, and I think he's going to be there for the next decade, manning that offensive line, which I think got better this past weekend. I give this pick an A as well. You get another potentially top 20 prospect, in my opinion, in Tyler Linderbaum at 25, and you don't give up too much. Boom. Now you have a solidified piece at center and safety with Kyle Hamilton and Linderbaum. Now going into day two at 45, I did not think this player was going to be here. David Ajabo, probably my favorite prospect in the entire draft on the defensive side, especially. Even despite the injury, I probably would have still took him at 14, or if anything, traded back to 25, 30. Got a couple more picks and take him there in the first round, get that fifth year option because this could be a redshirt year or a year where he misses the first half of the season and doesn't come back till maybe the end of the season, even in December on a good recovery time. But Ajabo, man, he's arguably the best pass rusher in this draft just because of the untapped potential, the athleticism, the motor, the ability that he's still learning and has the ability to be coached by Mike McDonald in Baltimore as our new defensive coordinator who coached at Michigan along with Aiden Hutchinson and Daxton Hill who were two first rounders. David Ajabo was a first round talent, probably would have been a top 10 pick if he was healthy. Hurts his Achilles at his pro day, and boy, oh boy, went to the same high school as Adafe Owe, 5 sacks last year for Owe. Ajabo is essentially a better version of Owe. Untapped potential, crazy freaky athleticism, a hard worker, a great motor, the ability to win one-on-one in pass rush situations, set the edge pretty solidly against the run. Still young, still developing, as I said. And with his ability to learn and play under Mike McDonald, who can play to his strengths and help him get better at the next level, when he's healthy and right, I think this is a guy that can get you double digit sacks a year. And the sky's the limit with him and Owe off of the edge for the next 4 to 5 years. Oh my goodness. You look around this division, Miles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt. We needed a guy like this. We didn't take Jermaine Johnson, and people were complaining that we didn't. You got David Ajabo, and boy, oh boy, I can't wait to see him on the field when he's healthy. He's going to do big things for the Baltimore Ravens. Then, third round again. In the third round, excuse me, after the second round, they get Travis Jones out of Connecticut. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy is somebody who, if he went to a bigger school, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, USC, Michigan, he would have been a first round pick, a late first round pick, early second round pick. He, along with Michael Pierce, who we did sign, no Brandon Williams, bringing back Calais Campbell, his ability to clog up the running lanes and command a double team is going to be second to none. I know the Ravens didn't take Jordan Davis after the Eagles traded up and took Jordan Davis before us, but having Travis Jones, he can not only stop the run, command double teams, but I think he's underrated as a pass rusher. He ran a 4.92 40, and he's gotten into better shape and dropped 30 pounds since being at Connecticut, 6'4", 333. He can pretty much play nose tackle for the next couple of years for the Ravens. And if you have Michael Pierce to learn under, you got Calais Campbell to learn under. He bolsters a depleted defensive line that needed depth and production. And Matabike with Travis Jones and Michael Pierce on running downs, it's going to be tough to run against the Ravens. And I think he's a better pass rusher than given credit for, and can command those double teams and push the pocket up the middle, which you like to see for these elusive quarterbacks because they get on the edge and run on the outside. But he can collapse the pass rush, the pocket up the middle. So Travis Jones from UConn, lower competition, but he balled out and did what he was supposed to do. And like I said, if he went to a bigger school, would have probably been a late first round, early second round pick. Daniel Falele, hope I pronounced that right, from Australia. He's now the heaviest player in the NFL. He's a baby Orlando Brown, in my opinion. This is who I think of. 6 foot, what is he, 6'8"? I mean, my goodness, 6'8", 384 pounds, heaviest player at the NFL Combine by 15 pounds since 2006 when they start tracking it. He's a mauler. He's going to be a right tackle. He's really good against the run. He gets his hands on you, it's over. You're not going to move him. He's too big, too strong, too powerful. Needs work on pass protection, obviously, with his size, has trouble getting low and bending. But I think if he gets his hands on you, like you've seen with an Orlando Brown, is able to play downhill, maul, attack people at the point of attack in the running game. I think he could be a good developmental tackle. Probably may not see too much time this year, but is a good piece to have for depth due to injuries. But I think in the next year or so can be a starting right tackle after Morgan Moses is gone, and can help us especially do what we do best, and that's run the football. Then in the fourth round, which they had a plethora of picks, Jalen Amore Davis from Alabama. I mean, it's great that the Ravens always get Alabama players. 12th Alabama player to the Ravens since 97, most in the NFL. Of course, Ozzie Newsome, a former Roll Tide Alabama alumni. Anthony Averett is gone. Tavon Young is gone. We need a depth at corner. He has the size and the ability to get his hands on you and be physical, and has the length to disrupt players. He doesn't have the best ball skills or ability to play the deep ball at times, which we saw with Marlon Humphrey, but I think he has the ability to play well. And he did, in my opinion, play better than he was given credit for Alabama. That was a loaded defense. So for him to not be, the starter or a guy that got all the publicity, that's understandable. But I think he has the talent and the ability to get better, that I think he could probably be. He may come in being our third or fourth corner, and I think he'll play pretty solid. I think he'll only get better. Then we got a tight end. I wanted us to get a tight end. Charlie Kolar from Iowa State. He's a red zone machine. 6'6", 23 career touchdowns, and they needed a pass catching tight end. We know what Mark Andrews can do. Kohler is kind of a Mark Andrews clone a little bit, a big guy, not a great blocker, but he's a good receiving tight end. And I think if you put him and Mark Andrews on the field together, which I think the Ravens will do more with Greg Roman's strengths, going back to that 2019, a lot of 12 personnel, running the football, using play action to get the ball to the tight ends, in which Lamar throws to the tight ends almost 60% of the time in between the numbers, would be good. And I think it'll great dividend on third down and in the red zone. Then Jordan Stout out of Penn State. Now, if you want to nitpick, they took a punter in the fourth round. Yes, that's a little early. And we don't know how long Sam Cook has in Baltimore. This could be his last year. He could be cut after June 1, save $3 million. But he's 39, has the third highest cap figure among punters this year, does Sam Cook. and they can free up 2.1 million, excuse me, by cutting Cook. But he's the highest drafted punter since Mitch Wishnowsky, 110th overall by the 49ers in 2019. Now they can release Sam Cook, create cap room, and by all accounts, this was the best punter in the draft, taking him in the fourth round. Maybe a little bit of a reach before taking a kicker or punter before the fifth or sixth round. But if he's going to give you that insurance, that stability in special teams, which you know John Harbaugh loves, can step in if Justin Tucker does go down. Why not? And at this point, it was a luxury pick. You had six fourths, and you used it on a punter. Hey, you needed one, you got him. I ain't gonna hate on it too much. If you want to nitpick it down below, that's fine. Then in the fourth round again, Isaiah Likely out of Coastal Carolina, likely a big pass catcher, averaging 15.4 yards a catch, which we need in the passing game. We need yak, we need big plays over 10 to 15 yards. And Lamar Jackson, as I said, those to the tight end, excuse me, 49.5% of the time. But you can go two tight ends. You have two younger tight ends. You can cut Nick Boyle if you need to create some cap space because of his injury history and his inconsistencies. You add Isaiah Likely after adding Charlie Kohler, sticking to your board, getting the best player available, position of need after the trade of Marquise Hollywood Brown, more of an emphasis on tight ends between the numbers. I'm cool with the pick. And if he pans out, he pans out. If not, he'll be a third or fourth tight end. Then they get Demarion Williams out of Houston. I love the pick here. He's undersized. He doesn't have the greatest measurables, but he has heart. He plays hard. He's a dog. He's somebody wanting a foxhole with you. He has really good speed and he's a really good tackler, really aggressive, not afraid to put a hat on somebody to assist in the running game, blitz and nickel situations off the edge, play nickel corner if needed, can be pretty much a Tavon Young minus the injuries, and has the ability 63 tackles last year, 8 pass breakups. So he's going to play physical, he's going to play tough, he's going to get his hands on you, he's going to be up in your grill, ready to come up and make a tackle if needed, shed blockers and cover in the passing game. I think Demarion Williams was a good pick in the fourth round, 141 overall. Then the last pick of the Ravens was round six, number 196, as you can see on the screen, Tyler Beatty. This man led the SEC in rushing, if you don't know. 1,604 yards. He's undersized, but he's a change of pace back, 14 touchdowns, and he also caught 54 passes. Don't forget, JK and Gus Edwards are coming off injuries as well as Justice Hill. We don't know if Justice Hill is going to be with this team, but he could be because of special teams. You add Tyler Beatty to be in the running back room. We know Greg Roman loves to run the football. He can catch the football out of the backfield as well, be a safety valve for Lamar, use him on third down situations, and he could be what we hope Justice Hill could be. And one stat that John Harbaugh and EDC must love, Beatty had two fumbles on 513 carries, so that ball security to trust him on third down and give him the football, allow him to make plays, I think will help him make this roster spot and have the coaching staff believe in him, which we didn't see with Tyson Williams. And you'll see Beatty make an impact, I think, on third down and eventually in a year or two could be our second running back after J.K. Dobbins if Dobbins comes back to being what he was. So all in all, I gave the Ravens an A+ here on the Flex Zone podcast. We gave them an A+. This might be the best Ravens draft I've seen since wow, since what, the 2019 draft where we got Lamar, Andrews, Orlando Brown, three Pro Bowl caliber players, all pro caliber players, an MVP and Lamar Jackson, a franchise quarterback, a all pro tight end, and an all pro tackle. But Hamilton, Linderbaum, Ajabo, and Travis Jones in your first four picks. That's an A+ right there. Then getting value in the back end with Beatty, the two tight ends, getting your punter potentially of the future. As we know, the Ravens are one of the best teams and special teams in the NFL. And as well, if you want to say a negative, they did not address the wide receiver position. But I think looking at the board, the way some of the picks fell to them, I think they didn't reach for a wide receiver just to take one. And a guy who probably would be stuck at fifth receiver at best and be another Miles Boykin who doesn't make any impact. I think they did good getting the tight ends. You have Bateman, you have Duvernay, use him, use Prochet and Wallace. Let's see what they can do. You have Andrews, you drafted the two tight ends. You still have Nick Boyle, J.K., Gus Edwards, and Beatty. You get Linderbaum to solidify the offensive line along with Falele, who can come in and be a mauler eventually, probably even be that swing tackle if needed on running downs and short yardage plays for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm giving them an A+. I think they had damn near a perfect draft. Only thing you can nitpick, taking a punter in the fourth round and maybe not taking a wide receiver at some point in that fourth round with all those picks instead of one of the tight ends if you wanted to go that way. But I think the tight ends were rated higher and I think would be able to come in and make more of an impact for the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know what you think of the Baltimore Ravens draft. If you like what I said, if you don't agree with my grade, you got a better grade or something you think they should have did or someone they should have took, let me know down below in the comments. Like this video. Please like the video. It helps out the channel greatly. I can continue to give you this great content, make videos like this, and bring you all the Baltimore Ravens and sports news that you want to hear, baby. It's the Flex Zone Podcast, the only place giving you your sports how you want and when you need it. I'm God's favorite host, the host with the moist. You know what to do, man. Comment down below, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of the Flex Zone Podcast, 10 p.m. We'll be talking draft, Ravens draft, Commanders draft, winners, losers, players that we love to see go, players that fell, reaches, things of that nature as well. Throw your ones up and acknowledge us with a head of the sports podcast table. Again, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Flex Zone family, comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Baltimore Ravens draft. I gave them an A plus. They knocked it out of the park. Hamilton, Linderbaum, Ajabo, Travis Jones in your first 4 picks, adding depth and pieces of need. Good, young, cheap labor that can come in, add depth, and produce on the field and on special teams as well. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Let me know your thoughts. Again, the Baltimore Ravens getting an A plus from yours truly, God's favorite host of the Moist. Let me know your thoughts on the 2022 NFL Draft and check out all of our other videos on the 2022 NFL Draft on the Flex Zone Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe, y'all. Like the video. Thumbs up, hit that bell for notifications, comment down below, let me know what you think, what your draft grade is for the Baltimore Ravens. I gave them an A plus yet again. Now,